Welcome back to OverThink, the Overwatch game show where I ask contestants hot takes and see where they stand, with the three circles representing the disagree stance, the neutral stance, and the agree stance. The lines in between representing the somewhat stances. If you didn't know, anybody could participate in this game show. I have open signups in my Discord server, so feel free to sign up there. Also, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I also host these live on Twitch, so go follow me there. And if you want to suggest any hot takes or themes for future episodes, please comment them down below as well. On today's episode, I invited 9 girls who play Overwatch onto the show to find out what we've all been wondering. Do all girls that play Overwatch think the same? Let's find out. Guys tend to be better than girls at video games. Go.
Gaming is a male-dominated industry, and not many women usually play, at least like a lot of competitive games. And so there's not many women compared to the amount of men that play. And so I feel like it's fair to say that men would probably be better than women at games like Overwatch, for example.
I like to add on to the answer of Diva. It's just like population difference. The bell curve, like, yeah, you're gonna have more outliers if there's like a bigger population. There's also the genetic thing. It's not necessarily true, but they do tend to have like higher reaction times than women, which I'm not gonna like disprove.
So I'm a woman participating in the, tier 3 scene. I'm trying my best to go pro. And I feel that it's not that men tend to be better, it's that men tend to get better opportunities. Whether that's being able to play from a younger age because of society's standards for what, masculine hobbies are, or whether it's not being able, or whether they're able to get on teams that, women are not able to. But I do feel like this is not anything to do with, like, the skill. I think it's just development and investment in the scene. And I think something like Calling All Heroes will change that, hopefully.
I feel like because of, like, less women, playing games like Overwatch, it's going to be a lot easier to, like, call out a girl who's, like, playing. And also, like, women can also be, good at other types of games that, aren't like FPS, like Animal Crossing, I guess.
Female characters in Overwatch 2 are over-sexualized. Go.
I said agree personally because I have a lot of guy friends and they over-sexualize pretty much every character. Like especially like Orisa, it would be like, Orisa has a little badonk, it's pretty cute, but they would often be like, oh my god, she has like a dumpy behind her, and it would be kind of like weird. And especially like, I don't know, I feel like it goes for like any female character. There's a lot of weird people on the internet that often like really sexualize.
I think that from like a game making standpoint, the Overwatch female characters are over sexualized. Not to the point where it's like it'll like inhibit the gameplay, but I think one factor of this can be seen in Widow, because I'm pretty sure the Overwatch devs like straight up confirmed like, oh, she was for fan service. And I think that if it's not the characters themselves, it's like some of the skins that are made for them.
I feel like every game kind of does that though, and I understand like the intent, but I feel like a lot of games do it much worse than Overwatch, so I guess I'm just comparing it to everything else.
What games do you think have like the biggest problem with over-sexualization?
League of Legends, Lost Ark, those two.
I find DPS to be a difficult role to play. Go.
It has absolutely nothing to do with like anything. I'm just colorblind. I can't see the game.
It's got nothing major. I just have a large case of main tank aim. I was playing DPS today with some friends on like an alt account in quick play, and they're like, like super low level, like not even like ever touched rank. And I don't know, I'm getting rolled in these lobbies. It's a bit of a disaster.
So I have a lot of hours on DPS. I mostly flex play, so my hero pool is pretty decent. So I have a lot of time on DPS, and there are times where I play DPS and comp, and I get really frustrated because there would be times where I'm like, I can get all the kills in the world, but it still really depends on like, are my supports supporting me enough? is my tank making enough space for me to have the pop-off potential. And so it's kind of like I'm like a baby, I'm like a child, and I need to be babysat in order to do baby things, you know?
I just started playing DPS recently. I played Overwatch for a long time, and I just started playing DPS, and I'm already masters. I don't know if it's because I mainly play flex support, so like Ana, Bap, Zen, Kiriko, which have a lot of aim. I think that skill transferred over easily into playing DPS, but I haven't had much difficulty unless like I don't get healed enough. That's the only time I get a little frustrated.
Support is the hardest role in the game. Go.
I would say that support is probably, I don't want to say there's for sure a hardest role to play, but I definitely am biased towards support being a harder role to play, since tank, you're kind of meant to be tanky and not die, and DPS, it's the damage output and stuff, but I think there's just a lot of reliance on supports in general. Like support, you're not only healing, you're also doing a damage output, because nowadays, like, you know, the top pick characters are stuff like Ana and Kiriko, and those support characters do a good amount of damage, and if you're not doing that damage while playing support, you're not really doing much. So you have like a lot of priorities to do as support, where I feel like in the other roles, it's pretty straightforward.
I think every role has its own skills to develop. However, I think support is one of the... I think support, as a support player, you could kind of do everything. You could heal yourself, you could heal your teammates, you could do damage. You have a lot of potential to like negate ultimates. From playing, in my experience, I think DPS is harder than support because you're so reliant on the supports to heal you, on the tank to get space. So that's just from my experience, though.
I just want to first off say that I think it's kind of pointless to compare roles, but if you do compare roles, I don't believe that there is a way in which you can say support is the hardest role in the game. Support has characters that have an extremely low skill floor, but they also have characters that, in my opinion, have a reasonably low skill cap, which would be the flex supports, Ana, Zen, Bap. I don't feel like, due to the fact that they can get so much value with their, like, insanely strong abilities, you don't need to do a lot of like the positioning things or the you don't need to learn how to use every single bit of a support character's kit. You can learn how to hit good nades on Ana and you will probably get to top 500.
Is it okay if I contest?
Yeah, you want to spark a debate?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, take it away.
I think that while support has a low skill ceiling, it kind of depends on your teammates. Like an Ana ult isn't that good if your DPS isn't good. And I feel like you could be like one of the best supports you can be, but if your team doesn't pull through, then you're not getting out of your rank.
I just don't think that's factually true. I mean, it was a while ago, but I remember I woke up one day and I was like, okay, I'm plat support, I'm Masters tank at the time, I'm getting my support to Masters, and I got my support to Masters in like just a couple hours, and this was in like Overwatch 1. I just think that on support, you have the best abilities in the game on support. You have Immortality Field, you have Suzu, you have Amp, you have Nade, you have Sleep, and I mean even the supports that don't have like the, you know, amazing abilities, you still have like Discord Orb, and I just think you just need to hit that ability, and then your team, even if they're like bronze, you know, even if they have like really bad aim, you can just kind of do it yourself without requiring the same amount of skill that you would need to do it on other roles.
I also chime into the debate. Okay, I just wanted to say it also really depends on the rank that you're trying to get out of. So I guess in lower ranks, this is just my opinion. I think in lower ranks you should focus on doing more damage and getting kills as a support player rather than healing. A lot of times, you know, like Huckleberry has said, you can't always trust your teammates to do their jobs, especially in low elo.
I'm speaking in a higher elo sense. I was previously top 60 on console on support. For me, I personally think supports are your main foundation for your team, basically kind of keeping everybody up. I mean, in a sense, yes, you're healing, but also for me, I'm an Ana main, so you basically have to utilize everything in your kit and use it smartly.
I wanted to add on to what Anna was saying. I feel like when you're a support, not only do you have to like look at your own cooldowns, you have to look at your teammates' cooldowns. And I think a good example is, of course, Anna. When you have Nano, you have to be like, oh, who has an ult and who can use it right now?
I think it really depends because if you're really trying to improve and if you're really trying to get out of the rank that you're in, you honestly have to focus on yourself. But obviously it depends on like what you said, you know, for Nano, like who has their ult and you can pair that with Nano, but like generally I don't think you should be looking at what other people are doing as often.
I would love to chime in if possible.
Yeah, go ahead, son. Just stand next to what stance you agree on.
I play support in GM1 lobbies stoned as fuck, like Sylvok, and if my team is not doing anything, I go Moira, I go in their backline, I become the tank and the DPS and the support simultaneously. You cannot do that on any other role. I have won games in GM1 doing that. I've stood still, like smoking a joint on the side, just pocketing my DPS with the blue beam behind a wall. I've sat people and discorded them from behind a sideline, and yeah, again, I can't really say that for the other roles, and again, I've won that in GM games, I've won that in bronze games, so that's just my stance on it.
Thank you guys for coming out.
Before we leave, I know that we all have ult. Let's all pop ult at the same time.
Okay.
Three,
Wait, who's gonna count us
two,
down?
I'll
No,
say it.
that's-
I'll say it. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. The big build up. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
To the 1, to the 1, to the 3. I play easy mode and I play to win. I love to die and I like to BRB. All systems checked out. Group up with me. 2 to the 1, to the 1, to the 3. I'm here to party. GG. A giant gorilla can keep up with me. You can't be serious. I